So to explain the whole idea for this look, I'm invited to NYX Professional Makeup's Nordics Halloween party. They have an annual party that I always go to, and they always have like a costume, makeup costume kind of competition. I've never been in it to win it. This year I'm in it to win it. I guess I've always felt that I'm always looking scary and ugly on our YouTube channel. So when I go to these events with other influencers, I want to look cute and feel like cute for photos. And also, since I've done like over the top kind of looks a couple of times, I know that it's kind of hard to eat, it's hard to drink, it's hard to be at a party when you can't breathe like this. But if there's something that I really like, it's competitions. And competitions in things that I know I'm good at. Well, I guess you're gonna know when I post this, maybe, if I'm gonna have to eat my own words or if I brought it home. I don't even know how to start the video. If I can't even start the video, how am I gonna make a YouTube video? I burnt the skin off my hand and my leg from trying to hot glue my self-highlight together. I've bought a lot of stuff to make myself into a mix of Davy Jones and Calypso for Halloween in 4 days. All I know right now is that I need a Pepsi Max and we need to get stuff out of the basement and we need to get lights up. So let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna need her. All of this is Halloween. Everything in here, and here, and in there. The Medusa snakes might be a thing. Oh, hello, baby. Hello, baby. I love my golden suit, like it's in here. Freaking love it. Oh yes. Jackpot. Jackpot. You have been chosen. So my idea for the crab limbs are to use foam sheets. Some of them have a sticky side and some of them are just foam sheets like this. And on the inside of this, I'm gonna glue them together. I'm gonna use some wire to make them more easy to shape. That's the idea, at least. And when they're put together, I'm gonna glue the pieces together with a hot glue gun. I'm gonna paint them with some acrylic paints. And then I'm gonna make it sparkly and add some red rhinestones to it. So that's the idea. Then what's gonna happen, I don't know. So these are the pieces that I drew out on my leg. And what I'm gonna do now is just trace it onto a piece of foam sheet that is sticky on one side. And then I cut this piece out. And the idea is to rip this little piece of paper off. And then I'm gonna add a wire to the inside. And then add a piece of foam sheet on top. Cut it out, and this way I have foam sheets in the shape that I want, that is shapeable because of the wire on the inside. And then I'm just gonna shape them onto my leg and glue them together using my glue gun. So this is the basics of what's gonna happen, and then I just glue them on top of each other. And when this was done, I moved on to painting. I had loads of different types of red and I didn't know which red I wanted, so I just used them all. And I like the effect that this gave because it made, like, it got dimensions. And then I moved on to my crab claw. I just kind of freehand the shape of my crab claw, but it turned into like a Y-ish. I did the same thing with this. I had the foam sheets, traced out the paper, then I added a wire into the inside and then a piece of foam sheet on top of that again, which made it very easy to shape. And once this was all done, I glued the Y together, which made this claw. I didn't have a plan for the other piece of the cloth that's gonna go like this underneath my hand to make it like, it's not gonna be able to open and close, but it's gonna give the look. I just rolled it together and I did the same thing. It's foam, it's wire, and then it's foam. And then I made a little piece for my arm too. I glued all of this together, and I wanted to have some texture on my crab claw, so using my heat gun, or my glue gun, I just added dabs and dabs and dabs of glue, and I just kind of covered the whole thing, which gave it a lot of texture before I painted it. And I did the painting the same way I did for the leg. I mixed a couple of different reds, and then I just went over it in like tapping motions, and I also let the paint kind of dry in thicker and thinner layers to give it more texture. So one of my plans was not to mess up my entire apartment, but it's messed up. So the next thing I'm gonna do while my crab stuff is drying is I have this amazing, cute little dress. I'm gonna put it on the doll later, but it's too white. So my idea for this is to spray it with water mixed with brown paint, and then hopefully it'll look dirty, but not smell dirty. While my dress was drying, I had time to glue together my crab leg, and this is kind of how it went. I just put it on my leg and I kind of winged the spaces in between. The only thing you have to think about this is that you may have to make sure you can bend your knee, because I didn't do that the first time. And then I added another little NYX trick, which is spraying black hairspray to make dimensions, and it looked great.
I haven't had Cheerios in a very long time. Now I've had half the pack, thinking about how I'm gonna paint these. I think I got an idea. I want them to look like the little I want them to look like the little rings on the tentacles, and I've already decided that I don't want to paint them after they're on. Maybe just like a little dab with a light color to make them pop and add some rhinestones. But I want them, since the actual tentacle is gonna be made out of the hair, I don't want to accidentally paint on the hair when I try to paint these, and I'm going to put on quite a lot of them, so I don't think painting them when they're on the hair will be a good idea. So I'm going to put this into like a little bowl or something. I bought the box. I'm going to put them in a box. I'm going to put them in a little cardboard box, and I'm going to spray paint them. That's the idea. I'll go with the silver, and then I can dab on like light white on the top. But so the idea for this look is doing a Davy Jones meets Calypso kind of look, but more like Davy Jones. I have taken some elements of like Calypso inspiration into the look, but it's gonna be a Davy Jones look. And I've always wanted to do a Davy Jones look for Elli Max. I am a massive Pirates of the Caribbean fan. Everybody that knows me knows that Jack Sparrow is my dream. The theme of the party I'm going to is supervillains, and so I had to think back, and I thought of my favorite movie, and the supervillain of my favorite movie is Davy Jones. And then I found my old notes in my phone, because I have them saved on my iCloud. So I had a full list of stuff I needed. I'd already bought half of it, so I have a lot of things for it that I needed to make a Davy Jones look. So I thought, what's gonna be the best comeback for YouTube? It's doing the look of my dreams, a Davy Jones kind of look. So what I've landed on now is I want to make a look where there's tentacles. Instead of tentacles coming out like hair and a beard like he has, I want it to be hair, like a mix of the Medusa look and of his tentacles. So it's like growing out of my hairline and out of like my face a little bit and coming out as hair, because I don't have a beard, because I'm gonna do like a female-ish kind of version. Not really sure of the makeup look yet. So this whole thing is gonna be you getting to come along while I figure out this kind of look. I feel like I finished my claw. I love it. I love that, because this was the idea. I love that I can get my hand out. If I want to hold on to something or use it, I can easily get my hand out. I burnt my skin off. That's why it's not coming off easily, because I put hot glue on my skin, which you're not supposed to, but I did it anyway. And as you can see, it's covered in rhinestones, or not covered, but I'm probably gonna put more rhinestones on it. But I put the big ones on, and then I'm gonna put loads of small ones in between. But that's gonna be tomorrow's project. When I have the whole look kind of come together, I'm gonna just put hours and hours into rhinestones. I feel beautiful. I love it. This is the hair. I mixed 3 different colors. So 1 gray, 1 ombre, and 1 kind of grayish green. And I glued them together like this, just so that I can easily add it to the hat. Because my idea is I'm gonna add the hair to the hat, so the whole hat and hair and everything is one piece. So the hat and tentacles are gonna be like, it's gonna be like a headpiece. So it's all gonna come out of the hat. And I'm gonna have some hair coming out, being braided, and I'm gonna add like a little wire inside of it so that it's tentacles like this. I have one that I've made for like practice. So I have one and it's braided, and then I've added like a little wire inside so I can shape it. So like imagine it coming out of my head or something like this, and then I can make it go like in every direction. So let's pretend that that's in here. I'm gonna add the hat. So we have like the hat, and I'm gonna add it to the inside of the hat, I think. And then I'm gonna cover it in like shells and rhinestones. And I'm gonna put the little, on one side of the braid, I'm gonna put the Cheerios. I really hope you can see it, because I can see it.
It's looking good. I'm just moving it around so it doesn't glue together for some reason. I don't know if it will, but I'm just making sure. Blech.
For reference, this is the coat that Davy Jones wears, and my dream was to find something similar secondhand, but I realized kind of quick that it's just not gonna happen. And that just finding a coat that was like, that had the right look would still cost kind of the same as just buying a pirate coat. So, as you can see, I bought a pirate coat. I'm gonna show you. First of all, I'm a little bit mad because this is a men's coat. This is a men's pirate costume coat. Because I wanted a coat that's kind of like oversized, a little bit big. And this came in, I think, medium large and extra large. So I decided to go for a men's large because I thought a men's large would be kind of like a women's extra large or extra large. This one is large for a man. It's not that large. There's no way to button it, but if I were to do that, there's no more space for booty. So it's not that big, but it's still gonna be fine. Now it's kind of looking. So I want to add some shoulder pads to it to make it go like this, because that's gonna give it this oversized feel. And it also has this like big sleeve thing going on, but they're a little bit wonky, so I have to steam it. And I hope that this is a coat that you can steam, or a fabric that you can steam. If it's not, then we will find out very soon. And then I have an issue, and my issue is I needed to have more texture. Like, it's more like a fleece? Is it called fleece in English, I think? Fleece kind of feel. So it has some texture, but I want it to be more like feel. I want it to look like it's been underwater and on Davy Jones. My first thought was to add like latex or latex pastes to cover it in. And then I thought, that's gonna be sticky, and there's a risk that the whole thing's just gonna go like this. And I don't want that. And then I realized I could just paint it. Give it texture, and I wouldn't have to give the whole thing texture. I could give bits and pieces texture, and at the same time paint in some dimensions to it. I think I'm gonna do the coat first, and then when this dries, I'm gonna move on to the hair. And then hopefully when I'm done with the hair, this is dry, and I can go into adding fun stuff on it. I have a lot of shells, so I'm gonna show you right now because it's super cute. So all of the rings have dried up and they look amazing, don't they? So right here I have loads of rhinestones and a lot of shells. So I picked out, this is my little shell box. So imagine like thick, gooey, painted texture with some rhinestones and these shells, and then maybe some of these that are from the old Ariel look.
think it's gonna be amazing.
You know, one of the best things about me is that I am a hoarder, and I'm gonna show you my little hoarder box of goodies that I saved.
So in here, I've already ripped everything out. I have this super cute skirt that I made for my Halloween costume last year. I was a mermaid. And I have ears from last year's Halloween costume for the NYX event. And in here, I have saved paddings from bras. And I think these are shoulder pads, but it could also be from just a bra. So I'm gonna add these to my shoulders and we'll see if it works.
Just look at this difference. Like this is shloop, and this is a little bit up. But I want it to be even more like straight. So I think I'm gonna do this, fold it, and make a really harsh line like that. I think we'll see. I'm gonna have to steam it first. Anyways. I'm completely winging it, but I just want to give it like, I like the look of it looking wet, and I think these, I might add some green into it. I'm not sure yet, but I'm just gonna add texture and glue. So what I've mixed is blue, gold, and black. I've covered the whole coat in paint, as you can see, so looking at it through the camera lens here, I think it's a look. I like it. It looks wet now, but it's because it's covered in wet paint, so it is wet. But I think I'm gonna spray it with some kind of like glossy spray to keep that wetness. Because I like the feel of this. It looks like it. I want it to look like it just came out of the water. So I think I'm gonna glue the hair up here where it doesn't really touch my head anyways. And so when I put it on, zoop, like so, it's gonna come out. And then I'm just gonna use some parts of this hair. So I'm thinking like this hair is gonna come out as hair, and some of it's just gonna be hair. Some of it's gonna go into like a braid from here on down, like maybe a braid starting in pieces of the hair from like here, the hair here, and then it goes out into like braids and like tentacles. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do now is just glue the braids that I have and the hair that isn't braided just into the top. And then we'll see what happens from there. There's glue on, there's glue everywhere. Okay, so it's all glued in, as you can see. So I try to put like the thicker pieces into the middle where there's like space above my head. Maybe I could have just bought a wig, but I really wanted this mix of colors, and I couldn't find a wig that had that. I also have pieces like this. They're really cute and mermaidy, but I think I'm gonna add them on when I've done like tentacles and all that, and just see where I'm missing hair. I can see it. I think the next thing is gonna be either I do a lot of braids and add the wire into it and try to find a shape that I like, or the next thing is I have to add like I think foam sheet pieces, because Davy Jones's hat is like shaped like this. It's more like there's two like kind of like that. I'm gonna have to add them, and then I'm gonna have to add texture to them, and then I'm gonna paint it so it matches the rest of the hat.
I know you can't tell, but by the time I was making the braids in this hair, it was past midnight, even past 1 a.m. I think. But I made braids all over the hair in different lengths, or starting in different lengths, and then I pushed the wire through it. And at first, I wanted all of the braids to like go in different directions and like going out to make it big, but I decided to go for this more wavy kind of feel. So I really like this, and I left quite a lot of hair. Added the mermaid hair that had both the waves and curls and braids in it, which I think looked really nice. The hat, as I told you, needed some shaping, so I went to the salon and I put some foam sheets on it. I covered it with my glue gun just to give that texture and also cover the line. And then I used the same paint as I used for the coat, which was blue, black, and gold. I'm very happy with the texture that the glue gave. I think it just made the whole thing come together. And when it came back to the Cheerios, I just glued them on using my glue gun. And for the braids, I stayed on one side of the braid so that when it curled, the Cheerios curled with it, which I think was the right decision. And once they were all on, I moved on to the last little finishing pieces, and that was gluing all of the shells to my coat. And I stuck with all of my blue shells, and the barnacles that was from our old Ariel look. I think they made a big difference. I'm very glad that I had saved them for so many years. I did all of the shells and barnacles and later on rhinestones in clusters, so it's not all over. I'm gonna add some more detail.
Okay, so next up, I'm gonna cut this whole thing up. I'm gonna cut it up because I'm gonna put a little reference photo because it's supposed to look all ratchet in the back. So I'm just gonna use scissors and hope for the best.
Now this is what the finished costume looked like. I loved it. I was so happy with it when I saw it in daylight. So I'm happy with the details, the finish of the coat, the coloring. The only thing I changed was I added a little bit of shade to the barnacles and shells because they were a bit too white, but I couldn't wait to bring it to the party. And in the next video, I'm gonna show you when I put the whole look together.
The winner for the best concept 2000.